Most bad experiences starts before the water hits the head and the shears hits the hair, y'all. And it all boils down to one thing, the consultation. Welcome back to Hear My Side. Listen, where we bridge the gap between stylist and client, one conversation at a time. I am Angela Fuller, 35 years behind the styling chair, 6 years as a transformation life coach, and I know this for sure. If we can get the consultation right, everything else will follow. And that's what we are talking about today. We are talking about the importance of a salon consultation. We're going to talk about why it matters, how it can go wrong, but also how it can go very, very right. So tune in. So what are the key points we're going to talk about today? One of the main things is we are going to talk about why the consultation matters. Why it matters. The consultation is where expectations meet reality. What is really going to happen? What is really going to be the end result? Because a client comes in with expectations. It really does. But we as the professional, we know the reality. We know what can and cannot happen and why it can and cannot happen. So from the stylist point of view, for the stylist, we need this consultation because we are the expert. We are the expert, and we understand that if a stylist has a certain texture, a client has a certain texture of hair, a certain length of hair, a certain lifestyle, that there are certain end results, certain styles. It's just not going to work for her. Certain colors just not going to work for her. And why the consultation is so important for you, our beautiful clients, is because this is your opportunity to be heard. This is your opportunity to express what you are hoping for when you leave the chair and go home, and it also is an opportunity for you to really trust and build confidence in your stylist. So that's why it's important. And a lot of times that's a step we want to skip, but we can't do that. I can remember I had a consultation with a client of mine who happened to turning out to be a long-term client. I saw her when I was out. She saw my hair, and at the time I was wearing my hair, it was relaxed, bone straight, y'all, and I wore it spike. I had it relaxed and cut short and cut in a way that it didn't require curling iron. I would just take that thing and work that hair and boom, blow it out with a blow dryer or comb it out with a styling comb, and I was good to go. Someone saw me out with that style, and she said, "Ooh, I like your hair. I've been trying to get that look for a long time." So of course, I gave her my information. She contacted me to get her hair done. And what happened was that individual at the time had on a hat. So I didn't really see the texture of her hair. She's walking in, of course, her expectation was, "Ooh, I'm gonna get this slick, spiky look today." And me remembering when I met her saying, "I'm gonna hook this sister up as well." So what happened was she came in a little early. As a matter of fact, she came in the day before her appointment. She said, "I just stopped by because I wanted to know where you were located." And so she came in, I greeted her well, and she happened to take off her cap. And I realized this woman has naturally curly hair, short hair, naturally curly, tight curls. I'm not talking that wave, no, tight just like mine, tight curls. And so I proceeded, I said, darling, what I want you to do is I want you to come in a half an hour early on your appointment tomorrow so that we can have a consultation. No problem. I had it on my books. I had the space. She came in and I sat her in my chair and I said, hon, first and foremost, do you realize for you to get this look, you are going to have to relax your hair? Well, she want to know, what do you mean by that? I mean, you are going to have to get a chemical in your hair that will permanently relax your hair so that you can go from curly to straight. No, ma'am. She wasn't hearing that. That is not what she signed up for. She said, ma'am, I do not want a relax in my hair. I want that look and I want you to create it without relaxing my hair. And that is how my consultation saved the day. Without that consultation, that woman would have came and sat in my chair and I would have proceeded to relax her hair. So this is the importance of a consultation. You make sure that you and that client are on the same page. You share the limitations of this hair based on texture, based on lifestyle, based on a few things. So you see how having a consultation can save the day. That's all we're saying. You want to save the day. You want to save yourself and you want a happy client. Sometimes consultations can go wrong though. And some of the times it goes wrong because guess what? We want to rush the consultation. Both of us, stylists and clients, we want to rush the consultation and get to the real deal. You sit in the chair before you finish talking. You sit down and before you finish talking with your stylist, your client, you want to rush them to the shampoo bowl. Cape on, rush to the shampoo bowl. Rush consultations can mess up a good thing. What else can mess up a good thing? Unclear language. Well, what do I mean by that? Clients say, oh, I want to trim. She's thinking a fourth of an inch. Guess what we're thinking as stylists? Come on now, let's be real. What are we thinking? We're thinking a half an inch. Let me tell you something. A half an inch can send some clients into shock. You know, so we got to be clear with our language. So type in the chat, clear in our language if you is a stylist or if you are a stylist or client that have gone through that. And the third thing is assumptions. Because as stylists, sometimes we assume clients want what they had the last time. We want to assume that a client, I know I do, I did it all the time because my client came every week. So I knew like clockwork, oh, I know what she's getting. And guess what? I base my time and I also schedule my next client based upon what I know she is getting. And sometimes the client assumes that a stylist already knows. So we gotta eliminate assumptions. So say for instance, and I know you've experienced, I've had clients come to my salon and they say, what they do is they say, I want something fresh and manageable today. Well, in my mind, I know what fresh and manageable looks like. I know the steps in that. I know how to achieve that. And so I said, okay, great, let's do it. But the breakdown why this is a recipe for disaster is because the client is thinking one thing and guess what? I'm thinking another. And we both believe that we are right. So how do we ensure that consultations go right? If you have an idea or you've experienced something over the years, drop it in the chat for me. What constitutes a consultation going right from your experience? I'm gonna tell you what has worked for me over the years. There are about 5 things I wrote down that are elements for a great consultation. Now, take some notes, okay? Take some notes. The first thing is listening. Listening. Stylists, let the clients fully explain. Yeah, we know we've been doing this for years. We can do it with our eyes closed. We can do it without thinking. We can do it with chewing. We can do it while we're chewing gum, eating lunch, talking on the phone, whatever, checking for a phone. We can do it all, but let the client fully explain. Can I get an amen? Can I get a witness on that? Let her explain. The second thing is clarifying questions. Clarifying questions, because when you say short, this is a good one. When you say short, do you mean above the shoulder? Do you mean or above the collarbone? What length are you talking about? You want to go shorter. If someone comes in with that hair here and she wants to go shorter, how short? Do some demo. You can use visual aids to get that thing right. She can maybe bring in a past picture, you know? Anything that's going to help you see and understand better what your clients want, that's what we have to do. Don't ever assume. Ask your clarifying questions. Trust me, it will save the day. The fourth thing is honesty, y'all. Honesty and boundaries. What do I mean by that? Well, she shows you a picture, right? Client comes in, you know they're known for these Pinterest. They're known for these pictures. They bring you a picture and you look at it, and in your mind you're saying, oh boy, oh Lord. But this is how you handle that. Honesty and boundaries now. You say, that picture is gorgeous. That's a gorgeous picture. But your hair texture, darling, your hair texture will respond differently. And then go on to explain why. And tell her, we might can't do that, but here's what we can do. See, here in Charleston, our humidity in the summertime, is high. And so if I have a client who has naturally curly hair, wavy hair, you know, back in the day, that grease and water hair, yeah. Why would I look like creating a style, even after the relaxer, where that hair style is sleek all of the time? As soon as that woman walks out into that humidity, guess what's going to happen? That hair is gonna wave up. So I want to give her a style that's going to be complementary to her natural style. But the key is explaining it to her, setting the boundaries, helping her to understand why this would work better for her than that. And the next thing I want you to write down is an agreement recap. What do I mean by that? You may call it something else. I call it an agreement recap. And this is what you say. So today, not the next day or next week, today, while you're in my chair, we're gonna do a shoulder length bob. This is what you're getting, with face framing layers, you know, and subtle highlights. Ask her, do you understand? Do you understand? Demonstrate to her. Pull a picture out if you can. If she's getting highlights, show her a swatch of what her highlights are going to be. Be perfectly clear. Get her to say yes. You happy, she's happy, and you've got a referral coming your way. I want to share an example of how this can go. One of my clients once brought in a photo. You know, y'all like a little photo now. But instead of saying yes immediately, I asked her about her lifestyle. I asked her about her maintenance habits. I asked her about her real goals when it comes to this particular style. Does she want something quick, easy, that she could just tie down, get up the next morning, shush, and go? Guess what? Based on her response, she left with a whole new different style. She left with a style that she could manage, and she stayed a loyal client for 30 plus years. 30 plus years. Listen, the power in the consultation, baby. The power in the consultation. Your clients feel heard. She feels seen. She feels like there's nobody can do it better than you. She becomes your ride or die. You as a stylist feel like you have fulfilled your purpose in this particular individual. You feel more confident. You feel more at ease, and you can rest at night knowing that you made someone happy. You transformed her and you made her happy through one thing: consultation. Consultation. So, consultations are the bridge. They really are. They turn confusion into clarity, and that's the goal. We want clarity. Sometimes clients come in a little fearful, you know. We can take away that fear, and we bring about confidence in that client. And they keep our clients connected to us. But not only does it work for us, for the client, no, just don't work for the client. It works for us as well. So we're building each other through conversation and through consultation. And so if you've ever had a consultation that went really, really wrong, I mean, really, really wrong, but you've also had consultations that went really, really right, I want you to drop a comment to encourage another stylist or to encourage another client that it's possible. I want to hear from both sides on this, that it's possible to close that gap one conversation at a time. And if you want I have a full consultation checklist. You can find it in my membership, the exact one that I have used for decades, that have never led me wrong. And before it, I went down the wrong path for a number of years. But when I got it right, honey, it was tight. Couldn't even get rid of my people. I'm telling you, the most beautiful feeling and experience in the world. And this consultation checklist is waiting for you in my Hear My Side club. That's where the real conversation take place, because we can't be having our deep dive conversation on these YouTube streets. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and because I don't want you to miss episode 3. If you find value in it, go ahead and share it out. And please leave a comment. Let me know how you like it. Let me know what you want me to talk about in future episodes. I appreciate you, right? Okay, and so until then, remember that every great appointment starts with a great consultation. And remember, we are here to close the gap between stylist and client, one conversation at a time. It's been so good being with you. I'll talk with you soon. Bye.